See, it's stuff like this that gives me trust issues.
Welcome to the Trust Issues podcast. We have trust issues with the traditional society-dictated path, with the status quo, with the whole get an education, land a job, and work tirelessly until you're 6 feet under. It's time to upgrade your life with the help of us. I'm Erika.
And I'm Kyle Auckland. We're a husband and wife duo, but we're also entrepreneurs, biohackers, and business builders.
Every week, we're dedicated to having purposeful conversations with each other and leading experts on topics like wellness, relationships, and entrepreneurship.
Subscribe to Trust Issues Podcast if you're looking for bold topics, honest dialogue, and valuable lessons. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Trust Issues Podcast. Today, we are doing a little midsummer check-in, just kind of sharing what's been going on in our life, where we've been, things we've done, things we're working on, just kind of keeping you in the loop. So that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, you're our podcast fam, so I feel like you get the tea before anybody else does.
Right,
and we go deep here on the show. So we wanted to just keep it real. And yeah, it's kind of crazy because at the time of this recording, it's middle of the year.
Yeah.
Summer is halfway over, and we've got so many things going on behind the scenes, and we wanted to clue you in on what some of those things are and kind of do a little bit of a recap of the first half of 2023. So let's start there and how this year has gone so far. I can start off with the beginning of this year. I actually joined a mastermind. So back in February, I joined a business mastermind, and I was really excited to get myself around more like-minded women. It's specifically a mastermind for moms. It's called the CEO Mama Mastermind. And I was really excited to be around just really ambitious women and moms, because I think one of the things I've realized becoming a mother is that the way that I used to work and the way that I used to do life is just not how I can do life anymore. And now we've got an 18-month-old, and he's super busy and active, and it just is a different ballgame now. So being around other moms and getting their input and just feeling normal, I think, about just life being totally crazy has been really encouraging. So I joined that at the beginning of the year. I had an in-person mastermind in April, and that was honestly a really pivotal moment for me this year, because I met so many just legitimately amazing humans.
Probably the biggest turning point for you this year was probably that.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think it just solidified some of the goals that I have for my life and for my businesses, and it gave me a lot of permission. I think sometimes we live in an echo chamber of just being surrounded by, a lot of the same. Yeah. And it put me out of that. And there was a part of me that honestly didn't want to go to the mastermind in person,
I remember that.
Because I was just tired. I had so much going on. We already done so much travel this year. I mean, this year we've been to Cancun, we went to Vegas, I went to Miami, and then I went to Austin, Texas for the mastermind. And I was honestly just toast at that point. But it was so good. And I came back with business tangibles and just more than anything, I think permission and inspiration. So one of the things I've wanted to do for a long time, so kind of a backstory on my career, is I did coaching and ran coaching programs for online business owners for several years before I got into the affiliate marketing and network marketing space. And I've been really feeling a pull to get back into that. I love teaching about marketing. I love teaching about, how to build your personal brand online. And I just knew I wanted to do this, but I just didn't know where to start up again. It's almost like I felt like I was coming out of retirement when it comes to building this part of my brand. And I just didn't know, should I do a course? Should I create, just a digital product that's $77 or something, right? So I just was a little lost. And I think I had a lot of stories, in my mind too, because we all carry stories around just how things have gone in the past, and that often determines what we think is going to happen in the future. And I think I felt super nervous that branching out into this again was not going to be fruitful. It was going to be something that required a ton of energy, and it wasn't actually going to give me a return on investment. And I couldn't have been more wrong. So I got back from the mastermind in April. It was end of April. Or was it April? Yeah, right? I don't even remember at this point.
Yeah, April,
I think it was
May,
April.
in the springtime.
It was in the spring. What year is it? Where are we at? I don't even know.
It's like a vortex.
And I came back and I felt like on fire, like more inspired than I felt in a really long time. And it just got me really thinking about just taking messy action.
Yeah.
So the end of June, I finally put my head down and I created some freebies for my audience. I created a digital product and I launched at the end of June. And within my first 30 days, made almost $10,000 in that launch. And it was like, when I say launch, I mean, it was just sharing on social, sharing with reels. You know, I have some automations in the back end and email list stuff, but nothing crazy intense or complicated. And I think for me, that was so the validation, not that it's only about money, but money talks and numbers talk. And it was obviously a huge nerve that I hit with my audience that they want to, because specifically what I sold was two things. One was a digital product on how to build your online brand. It's a 30-day step-by-step guide. It's called the Content Creator Starter Guide. And every single step of it is truly what I think every single content creator today needs to do in order to create a legitimate online presence. And then the second thing I did was I hosted a masterclass. And that masterclass was how to really launch your first digital offering. And I spent so many years of my life teaching people this stuff, right? And it's like coming back to it, it just feels really fresh. It feels really fun. It feels really new. And I felt so inspired. And so I think, you know, whenever you put something out in the world, right, it's like such an energy exchange. Like I put it out there and the response I got was so good that I was like, yes, this just was the confirmation I needed to keep going in this direction. So it's been super fun. It's just been so cool to create again. And I create. I have my other businesses and stuff, and I'm so passionate about all the things I do, but my personality is I do need to do new things often, because if I don't I get a little stale and I feel like things are a little like blah. So that has been super fun for me, and it's been a really cool outlet, and I'm just excited to pursue that and continue throughout the rest of the year. You know, we'll talk about what the rest of the year is going to look like, but you know, I think also for the first half of the year for me was a lot of just motherhood, like figuring out motherhood. And gosh, it's crazy, you know, being a first-time mom to a toddler. You're just learning so much every single day, and I think he changes every single day, so we're pivoting every single day. But I think one thing too, like we've done better at recently, is really spending more time together and trying to make our marriage a priority. I think the first year of having a kid is like really tough with
kind of in the
making your relationship a top priority.
Kind of fall into that roommate phase.
Yeah, we were like roommates for a minute. What's up, cool, roommate? Buddy old pal. But no, we're totally, I think, sparking the flame.
Yeah. Well, we also,
it feels good. I mean, we've never lost it, but
not to go down that path, but it's like we both knew entering parenthood that we were going to probably face this phase. It's kind of like it comes with the territory.
For sure.
Yeah.
What about you? What about the first half of your year?
Honestly, it's like it was trying, for me, it was more of like a juggling act of like fatherhood. And I think with Dawson being so young and that phase, and also like your career was obviously really cranking and still is. And it's like, I knew that, like I said, that was a time I wanted to be very hands-on with my son, because I don't get that opportunity. So like, I knew I wanted to take a step back with even some of the coaching and programming and fitness stuff. And, you know, I even had people inquiring to want to work with me. And it was like, I was able to, I think it's always a good thing when you're able to like turn some people away for the moment. So I was able to take a step back to just really be a present dad for the first time. And now that had those pivotal first couple months with him, of him growing, and it's like now he's entering, you know, the 18th month old and like 19 month old. It's like he's really this individual person that can kind of just like hang out with you now. And it's like, so now I'm able to really step back into some projects I was, you know, working on, and whether fitness or some of the sales stuff I'm doing, it's like stepping back into that. Although it still feels like a little bit of a juggling act. Like today, I was just telling you, it's like I was really watching him today while you were really working on some things. And I'm like, I was trying to listen to some trainings that I'm doing and kind of work and watch him at the same time. And I'm like, okay, I'm basically half-assing both things. So I'm not
Yeah.
retaining any information. I'm not giving him the time and energy he needs to be intentional. So I'm like, I have to shut down this one thing and just be intentional with my son.
That's
So,
what I've learned too. It's like
Yes.
being with him, you need to be fully with him.
Yes.
Because you're never actually going to be able to be productive in something else. And we don't have a child who just wants to chill and watch TV.
It's just a wild
He
boy.
has, to this day, never watched a show. He doesn't care about TV. He could care less. Like, listen, this kid doesn't give an F about Miss Rachel or whatever you guys told us, because I had so many people on Instagram who were like,
We try.
we've tried it all. He doesn't care. So
No.
it's like it's true. You have to be fully with him. Otherwise, you'll just go mad because you're trying to juggle and it doesn't work.
Yeah. And I think that leads us into kind of where we're at right now this summer. It kind of gets us caught up to speed. We're like, we chose to come to the lake house to be with your parents.
Yeah. So
And
you have to tell. So basically, our family has a lake house.
Yeah.
It's Eastern Tennessee, and it's a beautiful, beautiful lake.
Falls
Lake-
Nation.
What? Falls Nation.
Said Falls Nation.
I don't even know what that means. What does Falls Nation
Come
mean?
on, you're Tennessean now. You got to
Is
get
that
on
the
it.
Tennessee school?
Yes, the volunteers. Let's go.
I don't know what that means. Listen.
Okay, anyway, let's keep walking.
Vols. I didn't know Vols stood for volunteers.
It's the volunteer state.
I didn't know that.
Okay,
Well,
and-
cool. I'm still new here, okay? I don't have to explain myself. I'm
This is
learning.
just history. This is just history. You know?
Well, Kyle's the history buff of the two of us. Can you tell? But yeah, so our family has a lake house here. It's Lake Watauga
Yeah.
in Eastern Tennessee. If you want to hit up the most gorgeous lake, at the base of like beautiful mountains, it's like the Appalachian Trails close by. It's just unreal over here, and it's
at, like-
so peaceful.
It's at like the pre-beginning of the Smoky Mountains. So you get like,
What's the pre-beginning mean?
because like, Smoky Mountains are like Gatlinburg, that area.
Yeah,
so we're
we're
not
like-
technically there, but we're like,
On the tail end?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So you have some beautiful mountains.
He's
as you're
also
on
a
the lake.
geographer. Kyle's a historian.
I'm just trying
And
to
he
paint
knows
the picture here.
Is it topography? Like, I don't know.
Anyway, so basically we knew coming into the fall, a lot of things were going to get crazy. Some of the projects, home project, we'll update you that in a second. But we knew we wanted to have some real intentional time this summer. So we're with her parents out here at the lake house. So we've been able to like really unplug a little bit all together. Dawson's been able to be with, we had a little family vacation. My family all came out for a week or so. And then we've just been here all together with your parents. So he's been really been
Living
able
his
to,
best life. Right
Yeah.
now, he's playing on the shores of the lake
Yeah.
with my parents as we record this podcast.
Yes.
And that's been also helpful too. You know, back in Nashville, we haven't really had consistent help with childcare. And that's been a conscious choice. You know, we're
Sure.
kind of in the middle of that. But he has, you know, some built-in babysitters here with
Yeah.
his grandparents, and they love being with him. So it's been really nice to unplug. And yeah, we've gone hiking, we've been on the water, you know, just really plugging into nature. I don't think there's anything more peaceful than
Yeah.
being by a lake, like in the middle of the mountains. It's just really a nice retreat from Nashville, because we do live pretty close to the city. So, you know, we haven't been back for over a month.
like a
so
month,
we've
yeah.
we'll in total be here for about 2 months for the year. And it's honestly like something I'm so grateful for, because I know that's a pretty, you know, that's a pretty special thing that not a lot of people get to experience. We never dreamed we'd be able to experience that.
I don't think we've ever spent more than like a week and a half away from home.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is like the longest we've ever been away.
This is like how the Europeans do it. You know,
know.
they take holiday.
What are we doing?
What, America? This is the vibe. Like, we need to get on this train.
That's right.
So, yeah, we're out here at the lake. It's been really nice.
Yeah. So this time coming out here, we were able to actually sit down with her parents, because they're basically business partners in one of our businesses we're working on. It's called Foragers Forest, and it's going to be based in Linden, Tennessee. This is kind of a dream of all of ours. We've always kind of had, and it's been able to come to fruition, and the ball's finally rolling. But basically, it's a luxury, if you will, glamping site out in the middle of the forest, and it's a beautiful area. It's perched right next to the Buffalo River, so it's perfect for hiking and kayaking and all the things, and hiking, and I said hiking already.
And paddleboarding.
Yeah, hiking and kayaking and paddleboarding and just all the stuff. So we're basically setting this up as a retreat to unplug. So whether you want to do it with your family or just do a getaway with your spouse or whatever that is, just unplug. So it's basically 90 minutes outside of Nashville.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful location to get away for a weekend. And that is really one of the bigger projects that we've been working on. And the beautiful part
You can follow us at Foragers Forest on Instagram. Stay tuned.
As it slowly unfolds and comes together. But yeah, that's been, I guess it's been fun. It's been kind of hectic, but that's life, and that's usually how projects go, especially with building. So the goal is to have basically some communal type glamping spots and some geodomes and kind of
like a cedar wood sauna.
Yes, working into the bigger picture of having like some tree houses and some A-frame cabins and just a beautiful, beautiful getaway to unplug.
Yeah, we're excited about it, and it's something we've never done before. So we have no idea what we're doing in a lot of ways, but also we do know what we're doing because we know exactly what we want, but we're figuring it out as we go. So we'll keep you posted on that, but that has been something that I think finally coming out here, because the truth is that we actually bought that land probably about a year and a half ago. And just after the pandemic, the prices of so many things just skyrocketed, and we just weren't sure if this was still a good investment, and the build out was going to take hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we were just like, what is the plan here? And we actually listed it. We put the property up for sale. No one bought it, and we just were really trying to figure out, should we go to auction with it? We were really trying to figure out, what do we want to do with this land? And I just felt in my gut we didn't sell it after it's been on the market for, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so. Maybe a little less. And I just felt like, okay, maybe this is our sign. And it's almost like we had this aha moment after we already listed it to sell. And we realized, no, wait, we actually can make this happen. This actually can be an amazing project. So it's coming. And it's going to be something we'll document as we go with this process, because we really are going to be sharing it along the way when we start, the excavation process and the build outs and the sites and all that stuff. And then when you can finally book your stay, because we want you to come and stay, it'll be pretty cool. And that kind of brings us into our next building project. If you're new here, you may not know that we actually purchased ourselves for our family 12 acres outside of Nashville. It's about 30 minutes outside of Nashville. And our goal and our dream is to make that our forever home. We bought raw land. There's a beautiful creek in the back, and we were we're so pumped to get to this land. But it's been roadblock after roadblock of just delays and waiting for the township to approve septic and just so many different things. And now, finally,
things are moving.
We're inches away.
We've had our own almost self-inflicted wounds a little bit, just because we changed plans. It's like we had this vision of the house that we wanted, and then we went back and adjusted, and then we kind of realized that, oh man, we would love to have your parents come stay with us on this property. So it was maybe we start with a smaller structure and then kind of roll into our house. So it was a lot of planning that went back and forth. And now we feel like we have exactly what we want. We have the structure, we know what we're doing, and septic is finally rolling out. Hopefully this month. This is the final month. I mean,
the final countdown.
The red tape.
Did I do that good?
Yes, you crushed it. So yeah, the ball is finally rolling. It's been funny because it's whenever you do a project, or I don't know how many people have done projects like this, but it's you just constantly get the questions from everyone oh, when are you doing? When?
I don't know, Karen.
But at the same time,
we're figuring it out.
At the same time, this has been such a project of love, and this was not something we just wanted to wing and get done and have a structure. We've been very intentional with we don't want to build or do something a certain way and then have to go back and change and redig.
Well, we've had plenty of time to think about it.
Oh well, yeah.
So it's at this point we better know what we want, and it's better be intentional. But also, I think something to share about the property and the vision for it is our goal is to really kind of create our own little homestead.
Yes.
And my dream is I want cows, I want chickens, I want gardens. I want lavender fields. I want wildflowers. I would love some ducks. I don't know. Let's get crazy.
Oh, we're getting
some
it all.
Goats.
We'll do some bees.
Some bees for honey. Kyle's going to be
Beekeeper Kyle.
a Beekeeper Kyle. We're going to get you a t-shirt. This is Beekeeper Kyle.
That's right.
Beekeeper Kyle.
Hashtag Beekeeper Kyle.
And like we literally, God. I think like, oh, gosh, like especially being here in the mountains, we just love nature so much. And it's such a big part of how we actually grew up. You know, we both grew up on a lot of land, and we grew up in the country, and we want that for our child.
Yeah.
We want that for our children. We want them to be able to experience that. I think there's something really, really special about understanding how to work with your hands, how to like understand how to forage for your own food or collect your own food, how to take care of animals. I think there's so much character building that's in all of that, and I just cannot wait. Plus, I want to like be able to make my own jarred pickles, and I want to like, you know, I already make my sourdough. I want to make my own butter from my own milk that I collect from my own cows. You know, I think all of those things are really, at the end of the day, why we want freedom, is because we just want to be able to slow down, and we just want to be able to have those memories with our family, and that's what matters to us the most. So that's the vision for the land, for the Auckland farm. It's going to be epic. Raw milk coming to you very soon. Maybe not very soon, but you know, we're gonna journey on that and really figure that out, and it's gonna be new, but we're excited, and it's something we've wanted to do for a long time.
So like I said, the whole message behind it has really just been intentionality. It's like we have this vision in our head, and we are kind of not stopping until we get that vision.
Yeah.
And it's all for our family and your parents and my family. Like we are like, all I see is our collective families coming together and like being with us on this land and enjoying it, and being with the animals and the four-wheelers and just all of it. It's like that, to me, at the end of the day, the only thing I like truly care about is like family. That's the vision behind it. So if it takes,
we need a family compound.
That's the point. And it's
we want a family compound, people.
I just keep saying, if it's taken this long, it's going to all be worth it. And at the same time, I mean, I don't know how many people are listening or in Williamson County, but like everyone we talk to in the county, everyone, even our neighbors there, they're like, listen, it's going to, from the very beginning, they're like, buckle up, because it's going to be a process building. And then they're like, but once you're done, it's going to be so worth it.
Oh, yeah.
So like I just keep looking at, you know, that result of like, it's all going to be worth it. It's all going to be worth it. We're not even going to remember this stuff once it's all done. So. And
the thing is that, you know, it's not that much time in the grand scheme of things. You know, we're 34. To imagine ourselves on our dream piece of property in a dream home situation in the next few years is pretty epic.
100%.
And I did want to mention too that we have a plan. The reason, the self-infliction that you mentioned of why it's taken so long is because we basically went back and asked if we could have a second, you know, all the permitting stuff. We wanted a second build site, so they call it perk site. Yeah. And we wanted that because we wanted to be able to build a barn dominium. So that's going to come first. We're going to build a barn dominium first, and then later will come the family home, like our home. We'll live in the barn dominium until that home is built. Barn dominiums are a really great structure to have on land because they're really durable. They're really quick to build. There's so many ways to customize. They're really affordable. And the goal will be to basically have family be able to live there. And then, you know, maybe one day it can be Dawson's first home or whatever. Maybe he doesn't want to live with us. That's fine. I'll beg him. Please don't leave.
Don't leave.
But I'll just like put a sign up, be like, this is Dawson's house, so he knows. But no, I won't be that crazy. But yeah, so that's the goal, and that's the plan. And I think that kind of takes us to the next half of 2023. Yeah. You know, and also not to mention, we launched a podcast in 2023.
Through all of it. Oh
like,
my gosh.
What? We launching businesses, Airbnb projects. Kyle's still not telling his whole story because he has stuff he's working on that he'll share at a later point. Yeah. But, you know, me starting new things, in the midst of all of that, we launched a podcast, you know, And this has been like the project that we've wanted to launch for so long. We've talked about it and we were like, and these are the kind of things that I think we always said we wanted to say on the podcast. Is like share more of our story, give you ideas on how to dream bigger, and, you know, really just share our process and our journey. And that's where the podcast was birthed, and here we are. It's been pretty cool. I think we're like 30 episodes deep or something.
Yeah. And I also think it's like something we've always wanted to do is to turn around and not create a guide for everyone else, but just to show that like you can chase big things and you can do it messy and it doesn't have to be perfect. And just like even the story with our house, it's like I think sometimes you see people on social media and everything looks so perfect, and it's like all the things they do in life are perfect and their home is perfect, and it's just like that's just not the truth. And it's like to turn around and share people, whether it's business tips or life tips or whatever, and to show them that like, hey, we are just like you guys and we are all the same and we're all in the same boat, and it's always going to be messy and we're trying our best too. And I think just to turn around and share that, and if anyone gets a little bit of wisdom, advice or guidance to help them on their journey, then it's, you know, it's worth it. So like this has really been a project of just wanting to give back in a sense. And it's been fun. We've always wanted to just have this opportunity to sit down and chat together, and it's like we literally have conversations at home at night, and it was like, man, it'd be fun to just like
put this on a podcast episode. Like, what are we doing? So shout out to you listening. You know, we appreciate you so much, and just like whenever you're listening, please screenshot, please tag us on Instagram. Please let us know what you think of our episodes. You know, we are 30 episodes deep and we're still figuring it out. We're still learning. It's not perfect. There's some days where we're like, is anyone even like caring about what we have to say? And then some days we do interviews or episodes we're like, dang, like that was so good. Like it's so worth the work, and it's so much work, and there's so many moving parts, and it's such a huge project, but we know that it's like so worth it and will continue to be worth it, especially as we continue to go. And I think for the rest of the year, one of our goals is to bring on more interviews. And we really want to bring on more people that we believe in, people that we think their message is interesting, that they have something helpful to say, that they, you know, that they are interesting for our conversation. We want to bring them to you, the listener. So thank you for listening and supporting. And, you know, if there's anyone that you want us to interview, please send us a DM or something. We love hearing from you. But our hope with this show is just to continue to grow. Like, you're growing with us. Yeah. We're growing every single time we do an episode, every single time we hit record. Trust us, it's messy in the background, but it's been really cool to start this project finally. And there's been a lot of times I think too, like we feel uncomfortable.
Oh my word.
You know, like really uncomfortable. We're doing an interview or, you know, we're just like, oh my gosh, like we don't want to mess this up. And it's a skill set I think we're building is doing it together, and also interviewing people is a skill set, and we're learning so much in this process. And I think just being able to share it as is and not make you think that it's like perfect on the back end is what we're here for. Like that's the refreshing energy we're here for. There's
been a lot of interviews that very, very sweaty armpits, very uncomfortable, but you just gotta you gotta go through it. You gotta step out of that comfort zone, man. It's like you just, you know, and that's the whole point of this too, is to grow.
So for the rest of the year, I think we're pretty like locked and loaded.
I would say everything we just talked about now is going to take us right through the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I'm
coming out with a course.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. I'm working on that. You're going to be working on our Airbnb glamping.
Yep.
Plus your other projects.
Yep.
We are going to be
more to share later. I will always share what I'm working on. It's just certain things aren't perfectly concrete yet to share, but I will share.
Once they're concrete. It's not about it being perfect.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Wise. Wisdom. But I'm going to launch a project, an online course. I've been wanting to do this for a long time for content creators. I'm super excited about this. It feels so fun. Hopefully by the end of this month, and hopefully by the time that this episode actually airs, we are signing on a dotted line for our construction loan for our property, for our build out. So that will be really cool. And you know, maybe by the end of this year, we're trying for another baby. Talk about that. How do you feel about it, Dad?
No, it's funny because everyone's always like, what about another one? What about, you know, honestly, before we had Dawson, it was like, I don't know if I'm ready to have a kid. I don't know if it,
No one's ready.
Of course.
I'm still not ready.
But at the same time,
I'm not ready to wake up every day.
This is how it always goes. You have this vision in your head where you're like, yeah, we'll have 1 to 2 kids and that's it. And then you kind of like paint this thing. And now it's like, we've joked about this. We're like, after we've had Dawson, so basically the good times outweigh the tiring or hard times like 1,000 times to 1. And I think through this whole process, it's literally shown us that like, man, now I want more kids. I want like...
How many kids do you want?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I think we'll just take it one at a time.
Yeah, one at a time.
Like, you know, like
I don't
want to
put
crazy.
A number out there, but I'm not afraid to have more if that's the...
More. Wow. Kyle's ready. For our YouTube viewers, you saw that kiss. That was cute.
Well, we always talked about, we're like, oh, when Dawson turns 2, that, you know...
Yeah, well, he'll be 2 in January, so...
Yeah. That's also kind of why we're stretching ourselves a little more right now, like trying to sow a lot of seeds, put a lot of the work in now so things can start to pay off, you know, as we start to grow our family. And it's just all part of the process of growing, not only in business, but as a family. So
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. We're growing in so many ways. We are being tested at our capacity level.
That's right.
You know, like what can we handle?
Yeah.
And I think what I'm realizing is we actually can handle a lot more than we thought. I think learning to just roll with the punches, and it's just like building a business. And I think that, you know, when I look at my history in building businesses, I have so many stories of failure, so many stories of heartache, so many stories of ups and downs, really, really low lows, highs too. But I think about how that compares to motherhood, and I'm like, there's nothing that is better than becoming a parent. There is nothing that's better than becoming a mom. It has been the most fun, the most joy-filled year of my life. It's been hard, but like looking at my child's face, seeing how he's growing, having so much fun with him is just so worth it. And I'm like, I want 10 more of you. Like not literally 10, but you know, I do want more babies because it's just so much joy. And just to see that you are having a hand in raising this little life, you know, and we're just learning so much in parenthood right now. We're learning so much about how to respond to him when he cries, or, you know, how to talk to him when he hurts himself, and just really turning our ego off and really coming to him with an open mind and an open heart, and really allowing him to feel and allowing ourselves to feel. And I think that has been one of the most rewarding parts of this year for me, and one that I think we're just continuing to learn and will continue to learn, especially as he's growing. I mean, he's just a wild boy, and he wants to explore, and he wants to just test all of his limits, and he's testing ours at the same time. And, you know, I think our job in that is just to continue to grow with him, you know, because I think when you go into anything, starting a business, starting a podcast, having kids, you think it's going to go a certain way. And it just doesn't. It always goes differently. And that's not a bad thing. And I think I've just learned so much this year from just letting my hands be open and not being so rigid. Because I was rigid. I was really rigid.
I was
and
too.
really like, nothing's going to mess with my sleep, or nothing's going to da-da-da-da. Nothing, it's going to be this way or my way or the highway. And now I'm like, what was wrong with me? Like, I needed to take a chill pill.
Dawson was like,
yeah. And it's like such a lesson for everything else in life, you know? Yeah. So the rest of this year, 2023, is going to be more growth and more expansion and more testing our limits, testing our capacity levels, and learning.
More failing.
More failing, I'm sure, as we do. And just enjoying the process, you know? So on that note, we hope that you're having a fantastic 2023. And if you're not, I just want to encourage you. You know, there's still so much time. There's so much time to change directions.
Yeah.
There's time to make different moves. There's time to stop doing something that you don't love. Start doing something that you've been wanting to do for a long time. There's still time to, you know, show up for your family differently. Show up for yourself differently. You know, it's not done. It's not over. Yeah. You still have so much time to pivot. And I would just encourage you that if you want to pivot in any way, do it. You know, I think that we always built it up in our heads that making new moves were going to be so much harder than they were. Not to say that they're not hard, but you just figure it out, you know, like you're resourceful and it's going to be okay. So
Yeah, and I would just piggyback off that I mean this in the best way possible, and all the good in it is get selfish for you and your family. Like, get selfish for you and your family, for what you want in the future, for what you want for your family, and make some of the moves now. Like, don't wait, do it messy, make the moves now, because if you're, whether that's starting a business, whether that's new career, whatever you're doing, it's going to take a couple years to really see the fruit of that and learn the process and be in it. So start now. Be selfish for you and your family, and it'll pay off.
Thank you so much for listening to the Trust Issues podcast. If you loved this episode, subscribe to our channel wherever you're listening, whether you're our YouTube fam, you're on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. We'd love to have you as a longtime listener, so you can always get a new episode every Monday and every Thursday. And we'll see you next time.